So we'll keep it organic. Man, I
Mhm.
feel rusty.
Yeah, me too. Even though I did a show last night or Wednesday night for Code Right Play, it's a gaming development show, but they wanted to talk about horror games and Friday the 13th and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Friday the 13th just released the swimwear pack, the swimwear 1984.
yeah,
Music by
I can't seem to find it.
Salems Lot.
I can't seem to find it, so I gotta look again because I've been playing a couple matches a day recently. And the worst part is like I'll die, and I'll be watching like we always do, and then everybody else dies, and I'll look, and everybody will be gone, and then all of a sudden, I guess the host will notice that everybody's gone and just quit. So I'm not getting any XP. It's getting annoying.
They're fixing that. They're making dedicated servers because a lot of people are just because you have more people playing and people more rage quitting. All
Yeah.
right. Whew. Intro.
Is it starting now?
All right.
What's going on?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Friday episode here at the Horror Syndicate. We're glad to be back after a little hiatus, but we have some horror content to bring to you. So we're very excited. We have a couple things going on. One of the hugest things going on right now is Stephen King's It, the 2017 movie, which has been very successful. And yeah, we'll get further into that. So let's bring it up. My name is Brian Enright. You can follow me here at Facebook, Brian Enright, or at Twitter and Instagram at The Horror Jew. Up next, we have Jared Letourneau. Jared, good evening.
Good evening, Brian, and everybody else at home. You guys can follow me on Facebook at Jared Letourneau, or if you want to follow me on Twitter, Zombie Survivor. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Jared. And last but not least, we have our president and Führer, Razor. Ray, good evening.
Hey, everyone. Nice to see us all back for our Friday show. You can follow me at Razor_33 on Twitter. Go ahead and follow Apogee Comics, if you will, on Facebook, and at Apogee Comics on Twitter. It's my comic book company that I actually own. Eventually, it will have something to do with horror. So.
Awesome. So thank you very much. And so follow us. Follow Ray at Apogee Comics. It's pretty neat because Ray's always been talking about starting his own comic book company, and this is it. This is Apogee. So we're really excited, and you can tell that Ray is very dedicated because the Horror Syndicate, if you remember, this time last year was a very small website, and it was only 4 of us, and then now it's gotten over 5,000 followers. Enough to get us to go to a convention. So that's very exciting to happen.
We're getting closer to 6K, man.
But we wouldn't be here without you guys, our fans. So keep on hanging out. Please follow our little our brackets that we have. I know, Ray, we're having a bracket in Halloween that we want to bring up
for October. The monster movie bracket. We're gonna have it's spread into 4 different categories, like big monsters like Godzilla and Kong, and then human like Dr. Hill from Reanimators in it. And there's classic monsters like Dracula and Frankenstein's monster and stuff like that. So Michael Myers, all them good old boys. So that's gonna start October 1st.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it.
With our brackets.
Yeah,
they're always a good time. I love our brackets.
They're fun. They're a little stressful, but they're all stressful. It's not because of having to do them. They're stressful because, like the last one we did, I had high hopes for The Void. I know you did too, Jared, and it made it really far versus all these other horror classics. And I think it was the 4th round is when it finally lost, but I can't remember who it lost to. I think that's The Descent or something.
Yeah, I think it was The Descent.
Yeah,
which is a good movie too.
Yeah, so, it should be fun.
Yeah, Descent's that one movie where you just do not expect it to be that good. That Descent has no business being that good. I mean, it's.
But I'm okay with it being good.
Yeah, yeah,
I'll take it.
And the Void was pretty awesome. You know, especially coming from Astron 6, where they made like really campy horror movies such as Manborg, and they had the editor, and then of course Troma's Father's Day, which was an absolute riot. But like the Void was like the first time that they brought in something serious, and it had so many homages to it. I know we covered it before.
They made the editor?
They made the editor, yeah.
Oh my god. I love that movie.
Yes.
The editor. Thank you, Jared.
Hell yeah, you're welcome.
It has your paper towel in there too that you sent with it.
I always thought that was a nice little thing when you bought something secondhand on eBay. They took the time to put a paper towel in there so the DVD or Blu-ray doesn't get scratched up.
I think the companies need to start doing that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So
we're putting just a little sliver of bubble wrap in there with the CD.
Yeah, because I just bought Graveyard Shift today, and I can hear the disc kind of flopping around in there. You see it, $5 at Walmart. Stephen King horror movie. Been into Stephen King lately, thanks to it.
And he turned 70
Brian's
yesterday, which is awesome.
Yeah, no, Stephen King. There's a picture going around of Stephen King, and he's shirtless, and it says Stephen King's tit coming soon. So, it was one of those things where it's like I think like one of the Facebook pages. I think it was useless, unsuccessful, and unpopular memes. Facebook page was a widely popular Facebook page, and if you're one of those people on Facebook who like to look for really obscure, crazy bullshit, which you can, participate in, I would check them out because it's just so funny. And you notice that like all their bigger websites are stealing their memes. It's like a meme. If you create like a meme where it's like super offensive, it might get deleted, or if it, I know every year they have Possum Week, which all my Facebook friends hate when I do it. I just post all these possum memes they're just awful. But yeah, no, someone made a meme with Stephen King shirtless, and it said Stephen King's tit, as mocking the new Stephen King adaptation, which did really, really amazingly well the first weekend it opened, and people are saying it beat The Exorcist in ticket sales and such. I don't know if that's true.
I think as of today, it may be the top grossing horror movie of all time. I think I saw that somewhere.
Oh, definitely.
I know it broke opening weekend records.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm gonna look it up.
Like that movie is such a tyrant. And the thing is that you have all these horror fanboys out there. It's like, here at the Horror Syndicate, we're always talking about how movies and movie theaters aren't R-rated anymore. They're always PG-13. They're terrible remakes, they're terrible adaptations, and it looks like there was no time and effort, and there's a lot of CGI.
Yeah. So, according to Variety, it is the highest grossing horror film of all time. That is amazing.
That is.
That's awesome.
And it's awesome, and that horror has finally had a chance that we haven't seen in a long time, a chance to break out and sell out tickets in theaters to see it. And it's just not heard of anymore, especially if you have all these Marvel comic movies that are coming out and they're doing very successful. And you have Hollywood saying, oh, well, no one's going to buy tickets to see the movie if it's R-rated. It's just not going to happen. Well, Deadpool, Wolverine, or not Wolverine, I'm sorry, comic book fans, Logan, and all of them are R-rated. How do you guys feel about that? Should if the source material is R-rated, should the companies continue to make it R-rated?
Maybe not the Avengers or Justice League stuff like that, but I'm fine with Wolverine being R-rated. The thing about it, I wonder, is if it's also the time of the year. There was almost nothing out when I went to the theater to see it, there was nothing else worth watching. I mean, I wonder if that has anything to do with it, because the summer blockbuster time's over, and we're getting ready to jump into fall after, mid-October or so. I mean, there's other stuff coming out, like the other movies, like Thor and Justice League and Star Wars. So I wonder if they just exploited the bad time for movies, because a couple days before it came out, I had no kids with me, so I was like, oh, I want to go see a movie. I looked, and I'm like, well, there's nothing to see, so I guess I won't see anything. It comes out on Friday. So, yeah. I mean, that could be it, but I'm glad it's making money. It kind of makes me wonder if the people who were behind the Friday the 13th movie that failed are kicking themselves right in their dicks, because they were going to release October 13th, and here we are. It's making $400 million in the box office.
Yeah, well, according to sources, apparently, according to Paramount, they are they're talking about getting the failed Friday the 13th movie to get made again. It's actually scheduled for 2019 because of the success of Stephen King's Tit, and
that's stupid. They should rush it up next year. They should get it out next year. It shouldn't take 2 years to make a movie. Not a horror movie, man.
It's their fault for relying on the Rings. I know we talked about this before. The Rings was never supposed to be the icon of revamping horror films for the next generation of audiences. But here we are in 2017, and we have Andy Muschietti, who directed Mama. You gotta remember, this is a huge thing for anyone who is not even a horror fan, but a filmmaker. Andy Muschietti made a small short movie called Mama, which Guillermo del Toro ended up producing a big budget movie called Mama with popular names such as Jessica Chastain. And Mama did pretty damn well for being a PG-13 movie. And then he was brought on to direct Stephen King's It. And of course, people like me, the eccentric horror fans, we got mad when we found out about this. Oh yeah, eccentric horror fan. We got mad when they announced that it was being remade. I got mad. I wrote a whole article. You can read it. I'm not going to delete it because I'm not the kind of guy to take back or try to hide anything that I said that I was wrong about. I admit that I was wrong in this review. I said that. Why do we need it? Why do we need to remake all this shit? And I was very unhappy in the review, and I'm going to write an apology letter to anyone who has read that, because the movie has blown me away. And I know that the horror fans out there, I see them all over Facebook, I see them all over the fucking horror groups. They're like, oh, well, it wasn't scary. The CGI sucked. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, shut up. This is a win for us.
Next to me was sure as fuck scared. Okay,
what was that? You broke up a little bit.
There was a black woman sitting next to me who was doing all the jumping at just about everything. The scene. Not to try to spoil, but this is about the last thing I saw was the headless child walking down the stairs. That scene scared the shit out of this lady next to me. I mean, completely scared the hell out of her. And that's when I had to leave because my son. He couldn't handle. I thought he could handle it because he's a big horror fan, but that's when I bounced.
Do you think it was the other people's reaction that scared him more? Maybe.
I'm trying to make sense of it. It's either that or it was the being in the dark theater because we watched worse things than that, and he's a big fan of gore. I think and anything he does not like paranormal scares. I think that was part of it also. So I don't know. We'll try again.
Yeah, might be better in a household setting next time.
Yeah, I think being in a familiar surrounding is going to help. So because he watched the original 1990s miniseries and he loved it. They both did. Both my kids. They're walking around going, "Hiya, Joji," and they're still doing it. So, and now of course they want the Pennywise pop too. So,
of course.
Yeah.
I mean, You haven't seen the whole movie, but I mean, we can talk about a couple of the spoilers in the first half an hour. I mean, the movie's been out for 2 weeks now, so I mean.
Well, even so, I mean, it's not. It shouldn't surprise me too much considering it's a book and based off the book, kind of based on old movie. So there shouldn't be really any spoilers for anybody who's read the book or seen the old movie, right? I mean, did they change anything?
I like the fact in the first 5 minutes they showed Georgie getting his arm ripped the fuck off.
Yeah, that was the thing that kind of set Reynolds off, was seeing that. The mouth opening wide, and then Georgie, yeah, that kind of set him off, I think. So, yeah, I can't wait to see it again. I got to figure out a way to see it again.
And for those watching, that's not a spoiler because it was alluded to in the miniseries.
Well, in the miniseries, you see Georgie later when they're adults in the sewer, and he's missing an arm. So,
yep.
Yeah, I just watched that too.
The scene was, the first 10 minutes of the movie where you see Georgie and Bill's interaction, and then you see Georgie's arm ripped off. You kind of knew what movie you were getting into, and going in, what's great? It's just that the general public is there, and you have us old heads talking about horror movies like every fucking week about how great they are and how terrible horror movies are, and the people that are going into the theater don't know the difference between a terrible horror movie or a good horror movie unless someone told them that. Well, this was the first time where people went in the theaters and said, "Oh my God, this is a good horror movie. I'm so scared." It wasn't until the horror fans came out and they're like, "Yeah, this movie was okay. I've seen better." It's like, yeah, we know you've seen better, but this isn't aimed towards trying to be the best horror movie you've ever seen. This is aimed more towards the general public and the best horror movie they have ever seen in their lifetime, because these people don't go out and see horror movies all the time.
Right, and that kind of leads. I'm sorry, I just had a question.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Why's my alarm going off? Sorry about that.
There is a house.
It should be 8 a.m., not 8 p.m. Anyway, no, I was going to say with what you're saying about the average person going in, even horror fans going in, do you think with the success of it, we were seeing the Child's Play, VOD. We're seeing I think the Leatherfaces too, isn't it? You think we're going to start seeing these become theatrical releases with the success of it?
I hope so.
I talked about recently about how it seems like they're going towards the video on demand and then Blu-ray DVD releases, but with it being so good and so making so much money and bringing out horror fans, even not big horror fans, I wonder if that's going to lead to horror films actually going to the theater. My daughter just brought me this BB-8.
Well, I mean, even like a limited engagement, like a couple of weeks in the theater so they don't lose their ass at the box office, and then you go straight into VOD. Horror fans like going to the theater.
Yeah, and that, just like I said about my son being scared, there is something extra. And Brian, I mean, you were talking about when you saw Annabelle and how it was an awful experience. But besides that, there is something extra to being in the theater with a group, and you can feel different vibes with the whole group, the whole theater full of people. I like being in the theater to see horror.
I agree. But you said yesterday, Brian, that Leatherface went strictly to VOD yesterday.
I believe it went to DirecTV. Sorry about the misinformation. But I told you VOD yesterday. But yeah, no, it went to DirecTV first, and then it's coming. I believe the VOD September 28th.
Yeah, that's what I was like. So they gave DirecTV exclusive rights for a week. That's interesting. I could see that actually happening more often with VOD streaming networks, like a kind of a bidding war activity. Like, I don't have DirecTV, but my parents did, and I just asked them, I was like, can you find Leatherface on demand? How much does it cost? And a 2-day rental is like $10.99.
Yeah. And
yeah, but when's it going to hit the shelves, the DVD Blu-ray shelves? Because you can buy it for $15 or $20 in a couple of weeks. Why pay the rental? Anyway, sorry.
No,
I thought $10.99 was a little pricey.
It's way pricey.
Well, they're also kind of doing the same thing with the Cult of Chucky. The Cult of Chucky is getting released to Netflix when it comes out. Like
Almost immediately, isn't it?
It's getting released to Netflix, and you'll be able to get it on VOD if if you don't own Netflix. So, you know, maybe Jared's right. Maybe it is about it's a bidding war between horror movies now.
Could be. I want to see. I wonder if I could look into some of the numbers of how well horror movies do on VOD. I mean, coming out, you know, on a Friday night or something like that, or I guess Tuesdays or whenever it comes out. But horrors, I remember when I was a kid, that was the big thing to do in the weekends was watch scary movies. We called them scary movies as kids, of course. Mm-hmm. You know, and I wonder if that's the reason why VOD, the people that run all that stuff are trying to get it in. I already pre-ordered the box set for the new box set, the Good Guys box set for Child's Play, the whole series. So I'll be getting the Cult of Chucky with that because I have to have it. But I'm excited to see it. Good.
The collector and you must have it.
Speaking about collections, have you guys heard about Clive Barker's The Cabals Cut? He's releasing the Cabals Cut, and it's like I think it has a poster with it or something like that. But it's going on sale on Amazon for $250 a piece.
That is stupid. But isn't the Cabal Cut like 30 minutes longer than the theatrical version?
The Cabals Cut is basically the director's cut. It just some of the scenes are switched around. Right. I mean, maybe, you know, and then some of the deleted scenes from the director's cut on the Scream Factory edition, they were just added in. I remember if I remember correctly, the Cabals Cut, the original Cabals Cut, had the scenes mixed in with Nightbreed when it was showing in theaters, and the different there was different aspects, different frame aspects. And there was the enhanced mix.
So, yeah. Which version was released on Scream Factory? Was it just the regular or Cabal?
The Scream Factory edition was the director's cut, not the Cabal's cut.
Is it good enough?
I've cover and like. I don't know what this is. I thought the Cabal version was in that purple set that came out from Scream Factory also. The one that's going for like...
The one that came out with this, but it was like a bigger, like $40 set.
It's like a 3-disc set.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. I have it. It was like a limited edition big set. It came with Nightbreed director's cut. It came with Nightbreed theatrical cut, and the rest were bonus CDs. They had the interviews with the cast. They mentioned how Doug Bradley's voice was dubbed because the studios didn't like his voice, and in the director's cut, you actually get Doug Bradley's voice. And
Doug Bradley's voice was dubbed. He's got a great voice.
It was dubbed in the theatrical cut, and the studios, had such a big part with the failure and success of Nightbreed. We talked about this before, where Nightbreed was not supposed to be a slasher movie. It was supposed to be a monster drama, and it ended up, a lot of shit got cut out. There a lot of artwork got cut out. A lot of the tunes that Danny Elfman provided got trimmed and cut, and it just turned into this David Cronenberg slasher film, and it's just. People like it. People prefer the theatrical cut over the director's cut, and I completely understand because it's nostalgic. You had to be there at the time, and then go forth. That's all that people know, and they see something new, and they're like, I still like the theatrical cut. It's normal, but the director's cut is pretty much the Cabal's cut, except all the scenes were remastered.
There's so many cuts to this movie. Now, the first one I ever saw, I hate admitting this, but Netflix 2015 was the one I saw. Now, is that the director cut, or is that the?
That's director's cut. Mm-hmm.
Now that's what Scream Factory released, right?
Yes.
Okay. Am I good then with that? Do I need to see the Cabal cut? Jared, what do you think? I mean, Brian, I know you're a big Nightbreed fan, but like I don't know. I don't know what to do. Now I'm shaking.
I
have seen one version of it, and I know there's like 1,000.
I've heard it fleshes out the monster characters a lot more, and you learn about the mythos of their underground realm.
Which I would be into that because
it's not as tied to Cronenberg's story like the original version is.
That part wasn't big on that part.
Yeah, they made that. They made that a lot bigger. What's up?
Well, how much is it going for? That new cut you're talking about? How much is it going for?
$250.
Ryan said $250 a pop.
Yeah, Jared, you're breaking up, dude.
All right, I got it. I'm back.
But yeah, $250 a pop, and you can follow it on these Facebook pages. A bunch of horror groups, any horror group you go to. But yeah, that's happening right now, and it's doing very well for itself. I wonder how many more Stephen King adaptations we're going to see now, especially in theaters.
Well, they'd have to be remade, though. Not remade, but I guess. There's a few okay. Here's a good question, and let me see what you think about this. The Shining. Okay, you're not a big fan of The Shining. Was that you or was that somebody else?
I love The Shining.
The Shining. Okay, so The Shining, that's a Stanley Kubrick film based off a Stephen King book. Do we want to see I know they did a miniseries of it in the 90s at some point. Do we want to see a theatrical release of the book version of The Shining? Because I thought about that the other day. Like, what Stephen King stories would I like to see readapted? Like, Salem's Lot is one that I think Salem's Lot's fine. But I wouldn't mind seeing what they would do with it. But I have a problem with them setting it in present times. I'd rather them set it like in the 70s if they're going to redo it. Like they set it in 1989 so they can get to 2016 or 17 or whatever it is, right? Where the old one was in the 60s and then the 80 or the 90 or 1990, I guess. I'd rather than set it back in the, back whenever he wrote the books.
Yeah, no, that's completely understandable. And and if you're going to do something like that in a movie, you have to make it work.
Rob Lowe version of Salem's Lot.
Rob Lowe version of Salem's Lot?
I've never seen that one.
Yeah. I haven't seen it.
I actually passed up that today. I went and checked out Walmart's DVDs for Halloween and everything, and it's pretty disappointing. But I saw The Shining, Salem's Lot, the new one with Rob Lowe, and then something else all together for like $10. So, yes, okay. So, hey, Brian, I hate to put you on the spot, but our dear friend Morgan wants to know if she can jump on with us for a few minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Come on, Morgan.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I know how much you hate her.
I don't hate Morgan.
No, hold on. Let me send her the invite and get her on here. But Jared, did you hear my question?
Looking for it.
The question about
I don't think so. I was cutting out earlier.
Still cutting out a little bit.
But Brian raised the question about other Stephen King.
Damn
it. Stephen King. Stephen King. God, you used to do it, Brian. I can't do
it. Would you like to see more Stephen King adaptations come to the big screen?
Just sent Morgan the wrong.
Well, Andy Muschietti also talked about he wants to heavily come back and revamp Pet Sematary, which, in my honest opinion, Pet Sematary was probably my favorite more modern Stephen King adaptation.
Do not touch that movie.
Yeah, you can't touch that movie.
Do not touch that movie. No.
It's the here's the thing about Pet Sematary.
This is going to be an article. Horror Syndicate. We're going to have to make an article out of this. Which Stephen King movies do not need to be touched, and that's at the top of my list. I agree with you, Brian.
Yeah, Pet Sematary shouldn't be touched, and it's that movie that you watch. When you're a kid and you watch Pet Sematary, you're scared by the spooky scenes. You're scared by the evil cat coming back to life. You're scared by and you're scared by all the visual stuff that you see. But when you watch it as a parent, it's the stuff that you don't see. It's the grieving. It's the horrors of being a parent. It's the horrors of losing loved ones, and it's the same thing that happened with It. That made this version of It so scary. And it wasn't the jump scares for me. It was what you don't see. The child molestation going on with Beverly. It was the fear of being bullied in school, and trying to avoid that. And it was the fear of just fear. It's the stuff that you don't see, and it's the stuff that you could never, especially if you never walked in those shoes, the stuff that you could never imagine as a kid. It would be very interesting to see the adults play out, and I know that the actors actually want to pick their adult actors for the movie. We talked about this before. Hi, Morgan.
Hey, Morgan.
Hello.
Uh-oh.
Welcome.
Now we're
I don't know
gonna-
why Ray was saying I hate you. That was stupid. Me and Morgan are like best friends on Facebook. We always like each other's
Totally
shit.
joking.
What?
So what's up, Morgan? You want to talk about It for a few minutes?
Yep.
What did you think of it? Do you like it? Do you have fun? Would you recommend it to a group of nuns?
Yes. I mean, I don't know about that, but I loved it. It was great.
Had you seen the miniseries before?
Yes, me and my roommate watched it a couple of days before we went to go see the remake. We saw the remake opening day, so we watched the original beforehand.
Which did you like better?
I like the remake better.
I could see that. I mean, just based on the 30 minutes I saw of it, I was primed and laughing at some of the things that were happening. And then when the chunky kid, I don't remember the kids' names.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
Well, no, I was going to say when they were talking about some of the stuff from the 80s or late 80s, 89, that got me kind of excited, but then I had to leave.
Oh yeah, New Kids, when they were talking about New Kids on the Block.
Yeah, that was awesome.
You know what I liked? I liked when they were walking by the movie theater, they had Nightmare on Elm Street's Dream Child posters in the back. That was pretty cool. I love that movie.
That came out in the summer of '89. I actually saw it in the theater. Because these kids are about my age.
Yeah, you should star in the second part of it.
Part 2.
Part 2.
Who would I play?
I think
can I just play the bloated old corpse of Georgie?
Yeah, I was gonna say you should play the adult corpse of Georgie. Like, like one arm. I don't know. I think you would make a great Bill. You'd be like, I'm gonna kill this clown again.
Without the stuttering.
Oh my god. Speaking of Bill, me and my roommate, like, for some reason, we literally started, like, stuttering after we watched
You're doing it now.
movies. Well, I'm laughing because she's literally sitting right next to me on her bed watching.
Oh, does she want to go live too? In the camera.
Oh, jump on in. Let's hear her.
Naomi.
There we go. Morgan's roommate.
For the night? What? It's 8 o'clock and you guys are in college.
What?
Are you guys just in for the night? It's 8 o'clock and you guys are in
The
college.
covers on herself and everything.
Not party people, and also neither of us have a car, so it's not like we have any other choice.
There's time for that, young one. There's time for that.
Oh my god.
That's all right. You don't need a car to get drunk.
No.
So
Did you
alcohol
know?
in the car.
Did you know that apparently Finn Wolfhard like improvised basically all of his lines?
And
Really?
Is he the kid from Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Richie.
I would want to
He
play
was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that's the character I would want to play. He was awesome. He sounded like me at 9 years old or 10 years old or however old they are.
Walk through shitty water?
Did he throw something at the kid? I can't remember.
Probably.
Did
Yeah.
you guys?
Somebody
guys
put
notice?
a meme up on Facebook saying, "You guys." Seth Green played the original Richie
Yeah.
back in the miniseries. He's actually going to be the same age that they would be when this part 2 comes out.
Really?
Well, have you seen the kids as they
Oh,
got
well, yeah,
older? Have you seen them
This
now?
movie
Like
came out
like the
27 years
pictures.
after.
Have you seen the pictures of like the actors who played the kids now? They all look like the Garbage Pail
From-
Kids, like as adults. So I don't think that Hollywood would want them to come back and
What about
play the
Emily
adults.
Perkins?
Who?
I'll look her up. Emily Perkins. She played Bev in the kid Bev, and yeah, she
Well,
was in Ginger
she's-
Snaps.
She's going to have to compete against Jessica Chastain because the entire world, or it fan base, wants Jessica Chastain to play this role. I have no. And,
That's
I want
actually
Amy
not.
Adams.
yeah, and
Amy
I
she's
would
Adams.
actually. Yeah,
and she's worked.
I would agree with either one of them.
Yeah, and she's worked with Andy Muschietti in Mama, so I think that she might just be Beverly.
That probably will happen. I would never want to see Amy Adams in anything ever again.
See, I was
She's an
reading a
awful
thing
actress.
about
I don't see
how
the
they
draw.
I was reading
Go ahead,
about how
Morgan.
they wanted Jessica Chastain to be her, and then they were like, or Amy Adams, because apparently she's playing, or what is her name? Sophia Lillis is playing a younger version of her character in something else. And then I was like, oh yeah, that would be good. Like
Amy
I see,
Adams-
like they look alike
Amy Adams is actually really old.
more.
Like she'd be older than what the kids. I was. How old were they in the movie? Like 12.
Yeah,
12 or 13.
Roughly.
It's supposed to be like 30 years later.
So we're talking they're going to be 40. I think Amy Adams may be a hair too old. I think Chastain would be great. The other the boy characters, somebody posted something on Facebook a couple days ago about who they would cast, and I didn't know any of the people. Some toolbox who's way too into film is who did it. I'll let you guys know off.
I saw
off camera.
something on Twitter saying that Ezra Miller should be the older Richie, and like that would be great. Except I don't think he's old enough. Yeah.
Well,
he's
we'll
too
get Ben
young.
Affleck to be one of the characters too, and then we'll recast Pennywise with Jesse Eisenberg, and we'll just get the Justice League cast.
Have you seen some of the horror like brackets on like Reddit and Facebook about fan picks for who they want to play the older characters? It's like yeah, we want Jessica Chastain to play Beverly, and we want Donald Glover to and it's just like Donald Glover's my age. Like, oh wait, do they all like I whatever. I don't care. It's like they people are choosing actors to play like the older children, and like some of them are like years apart from each other. I think like one of them was like we want Jennifer Lawrence to play Beverly. I'm like, Jennifer Lawrence is a year younger than me. Like I'm sorry.
All right, I've already got Richie, Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson.
Oh god.
Hey, you're gonna see
I mean, age doesn't matter anymore. Let's just get
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson to play, and then we'll get Morgan Freeman to play Billy. Who cares about race too?
Just throw.
So we
age
got a
up.
bucket list movie.
Richie had a hard life after
Yeah.
so the first movie.
Let's whitewash all the adult actors in it. Like let's just do it. Let's have like Jake Gyllenhaal, Liam Neeson. Fuck it, Liam Neeson will play the part as Ben. Kid fucking not only got in shape, but he grew like 30 years older as well. So fucking Ben in the 70s. Yeah, no, I somebody's horror brackets and are just hilarious when they choose like who they want to play the adults. It's like,
Didn't the character that played Richie in the miniseries allude to them coming back when they were 70?
I think so.
If this guy comes
Miniseries.
back when I'd be pissed.
Are you talking about Gary from Night Court?
Am I cutting out?
Yeah, you are.
Richie, you said in the second part, if this thing comes to
should
me, I'm going to have Jack
He's goal
Nicholson
from
and
Night
Morgan
Court from
Freeman.
Pennywise. Marky Post.
It's just crazy.
Do you know what Night Court is?
I know what Night Court is.
No, but
Morgan doesn't.
You know what Night Court is? I think it was off the air by the time you were born.
I don't think Morgan knows what Night Court is.
Her mom has to.
Yo, Morgan, your mom knows a lot about horror.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Your mom is my hero. Jen, if you're watching right now, you are my hero. I just want you to know that. But Morgan needs to step up.
And you're
in the
raising
horror
a
game.
fine young lady.
Yeah, Night Court went off the air in 1992, so that was before Morgan was born.
God, I was 4 years old in 1992. I hope the rest of you feel like
And I was
young.
-4.
Yeah, Morgan was -4, not even thought of. Probably she was a twinkle in her mom's eye. Is that right, Mama Morgan? I don't know what to call you. I don't want to call out her name on live. I know what her name is, but
Right.
all right. So, is there anything else you guys want to say about it?
I mean, I'm looking forward to the part 2. I just hope that the casting is right. You know, I don't like horror fanboys for saying that the movie wasn't scary. It's like, why are you trying to ruin a good thing? Like, we don't have horror movies. Yeah, I mean, I can only. This is why I don't go into the comic book world, because when I was watching when my wife and I Victoria were watching Batman versus Superman in theaters. It was a full theater full of fanboys, and we heard huffing and scoffing every 5 minutes, where I had to turn and look at the person and just shush them. And when you shush someone at the movie theater, that is the ultimate low that someone can go. If you're that guy getting shushed, or woman, you know, let's treat, you know, equality here. If you're getting shushed in a movie theater, that usually means shut the fuck up or get out. And we didn't have that problem with it, of course, because we went during the day. But, you know, like comic book movies, I'm sure it happens all the time, but people just don't shut the hell up in a movie theater. And it just is what it is. And when we saw Annabelle, like, we were in a movie theater full of, like, these teenagers who got dropped off by their parents, and it sounded like, you know, seagulls laughing, or seagulls wearing braces laughing the entire time, and you just wanted to punch all those seagulls in the face because they should have never been there. And we had to get our fucking tickets refunded, and we came back at a better time. There was kids in the theater, but they were quiet. Having an R-rated horror in movie theaters is not only good for the horror fans, but it's also going to keep the little shitbags out of the movies that studios have been aiming to make them more approachable to buy tickets to see them. Kids can easily get into a PG-13 or PG-13 horror movie, but let's start making them rated R again, so the kids who are worthy of getting into the movie theater will shut the fuck up because they have something to fear, and that is getting kicked out. That's my rant.
Yeah, it was good.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
I did. Oh my god, I forgot about the guy. So when we went to it, they're remodeling our theater, and we were there, and Reynolds wanted popcorn. I'm like, all right, let's get some popcorn. Let's go all out. So we were waiting in line for popcorn, and this guy was waiting in line like next to us, and he was probably in his mid-30s. He was had red hair and hat backwards and wearing a wife beater, and he's just getting mad about waiting in line because it was taking forever. And all of a sudden, he just starts rapping about the line. And yeah, and I pulled Reynolds away, like, you know, the scared parent pulling a kid away. I pulled Reynolds, was like, don't look at him. He's crazy. Don't look at him. And then he looks at me. He's like, are you guys gonna see it? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, it's good. I'm like, oh, you're watching it? He's like, yeah. I'm about half an hour in, and I'm like, you've been in line for half an hour. I'm like, he's like, yeah, it's okay. And then he starts rapping again, and then he goes, go up to the line. He's like, oh, I want a Dr. Pepper. I'm like, you waited in line for a fucking drink? Most of the movie. That was hilarious, though. I wish I was trying to get my camera ready to record the guy rapping, because I'm not gonna lie, he was good. But all the people that were in line around him were laughing at him. And I was going to say the other thing. I was going to say there were a lot of kids there at the theater checking it.
Fuck, if I was waiting in line for 30 minutes for Dr. Pepper, I would start rapping too.
No, see, I wouldn't even do it. Why would you go out and wait that long? If I saw a line waited more than 2 or 3 minutes in the middle of the movie, I'd say fuck it and get a drink later. I mean, I didn't pay $10, $12, $13 for a movie ticket to stand in the line in the concession stand and rap.
Well,
Oh,
who
got a free
brings in
show.
who buys drinks and food at the movie theater anymore? Just bring in a little, bring in a fanny pack and just load up some drinks in there.
I try to go to the movie theater that brings the food to you anymore. You know, we call them bistros and 5 stars here, but like, you know, you hit a button. Yeah, I want a fucking cheeseburger and some mozzarella sticks, and you can get wine and beer and stuff like that if you want. Those are the theaters to go to. Tickets are a little bit more expensive, but it's worth it because you have to prepay, and they don't let anybody under 13 or 17 in is what it is, unless they're with an adult. So those are the best theaters to go to. Sorry.
Funny story is, when I was younger, remember Showgirls when that came out? It was NC-17. Well, I was a fan of Paul Verhoeven, and I wanted to see Showgirls. And it was NC-17, so I had to go with an adult. And the only one that I could get to take me was my uncle. And an older man walking in to see Showgirls with a 9-year-old boy was a little frowned upon at the time. So let's just say I never went to go to the theater to see Showgirls with my uncle. It just would have been an awkward time. But, just watching the movie on HBO and then, owning it later on. I'm glad I didn't go at the time with an older man to go see Showgirls. But
you like the movie, Brian? You like it?
Yeah, but yeah, no, I mean, kids will do anything to get into the theaters nowadays, including bringing their uncles to go see Showgirls with them.
I went to go see Back to the Future 2 with my uncle, but we bought tickets to see the movie starring Ted Danson called Cousins. And that might have been a little bit more risque because it's about 2 cousins. You know the idea.
Oh, what? Ted Danson got freaky with another cousin?
Yeah,
Is that
pretty much.
Is that the movie's about?
Yeah, but we didn't go see that. We snuck in to see Back to the Future 2.
Sometimes you want to go where you can go bang your cousin. No, that's not Cheers.
I actually like Ted Danson. I've been watching the show The Good Place lately. He's great.
Good Place. My wife likes that show.
Good show. Of course, your wife likes it. She likes a lot of the same stuff I do, like Star Wars.
Star Wars. Buffy.
Oh yeah. Gotta ask her who her favorite character is in that show.
In Buffy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me know. I'm
I
curious.
always think Star Wars is like that generic show where it's just like, oh, you like Star Wars? It's like, yeah, who the fuck doesn't like Star Wars? And the people that I see out there who are like, I don't like Star Wars, or I've never seen Star Wars, they literally live under a rock. I go outside, I see a rock, and there's a human underneath it. I'm like, what are you doing under this rock? And they're like, I'm here because I haven't seen Star Wars. And I'm like, oh, well, fuck you.
I just need to say something about Buffy real quick.
Get it out.
So my roommate loves Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and she's who I met the people from Buffy at the convention with, and so she loves Spike, and anyway, so she was telling me about this whenever Buffy was invisible. And Spike and her were having sex and she was invisible. Yeah. And then she showed me it. I was like, oh my God, what is happening?
Yeah, him humping the invisible Buffy on a tombstone in the crypt. That was hilarious. And she was nibbling on his ear and stuff.
That guy walked in. Guy walked in. He's like, what are you doing? Yeah. He's like, I'm exercising.
He starts doing push-ups on top of invisible Buffy. It's actually really funny.
Oh God.
Morgan, you've never watched Buffy?
I watched it when I was little, but I don't remember anything that happened. I've seen a few episodes since then, but
You and your roommate should binge it. It's a great show. And then watch Angel.
I want to.
I liked Angel a little bit better, but that's my personal pref.
I actually like Angel way better than I like Buffy. But I think it's because every time I watched him, why isn't David Boreanaz Batman? I always ask that question.
You know, he
should
could
have
have been a good Batman.
Yeah. I think he either turned it down or something happened with Batman. I'm glad he wasn't in Batman Begins, but something happened where I think he was offered a part in a movie at some point, and I think it was year one, but it didn't happen. I wanted to ask Brian about what he's doing tomorrow.
Me? What I'm doing tomorrow? I will be going to New Jersey Horror Con as press to get the insights of as press.
No shit.
The way you said that, as press.
As press. To be getting the insights of everything that is happening in the local horror field here in New Jersey. The event is run by director Ryan Scott Weber, who has made movies such as Pretty Fine Things and, of course, his Witch trilogy. I'm going to go see this in action. He's a huge fan of 80s Spielberg movies such as Back to the Future and Goonies. And in fact, we're getting some a Goonies Q&A with Sean Astin. And Crispin Glover will be there for a rare performance. He's not signing anything Back to the Future, but he will be there doing a one-man show. And I'm hoping that he will be dancing to Lion's Love is a Lie. Although I don't think it's going to happen, but I really wish it did. Doing the whole dead fuck dance from Friday the 13th, the final chapter. But it looks like a pretty cool event. They also have a Night of the Demons reunion as well.
Yeah, that's
cool.
Linnea Quigley is going to be there as well as the rest of the cast with Night of the Demons. And
I just saw on Facebook our friend Justin Seaman posing with her.
Mm-hmm. That's right. They have the.
You have to go by.
What a lucky Mr. Seaman.
Justin Seaman, his movie The Barn is playing tonight. Unfortunately, I am going to miss it, but I will be there tomorrow night. We had them on our show. Steve Carino and Lauren Lepre, director Lauren Lepre, for The Dark Military. The Dark Military will be playing tomorrow at the NJ Horror Con, so I will be there for that. I hope to go to a bunch of Q&As and hear the questions, and there might be a live Facebook feed going on, so the rest of you out there can come join me and as I embark.
That would be great.
The middle of New Jersey Horror Con.
Friends like Justin, like Lauren, go see our friends and get some pictures with them. And I think the live stream would be really cool. I should have done that when I was at Horror Hound. When did I go to Horror Hound? When was that? 2 weeks ago? I thought about it, but then I tried
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I tried last time I was there, and I couldn't get any reception, and my video was still really, really choppy. So I'm gonna go up to Daisy in November. I'll probably try to do it there.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was on the Horror Movie Massacre group that has pretty much died. Thanks to the Horror Syndicate. The group is no more. But yeah, look for Brian tomorrow at the New Jersey Horror Con if you're there. Go take a picture with him. He's a celeb.
Who, me?
Hey, I gotta say, Brian, if you see any indie filmmakers there that we've covered their work, like Troy Escamilla, he approached me and said, because he remembered me from the Horror Syndicate reviewing his movie Party Night, and then went back to buy a copy of The Barn before I left, and Justin was there, like, "Hey, Ray from the Horror Syndicate," and I'm like, "Yeah, wow." And then when I went to Horror Hound 2 weeks ago, PJ Starks from Volumes of Blood was there, and he remembered me right away and hit me up on Facebook after the con. So, it's kind of nice to be noticed within the community, and especially indie films, because we're big supporters. Brian's go up to talk to some indies. We need to get some cards made. Morgan's the only one with cards. Oh, how messed up is that?
I can mail some to you. You can pass them out.
Yeah, with her name on it. Just white out the Morgan and put the Horror Jew. But yeah, make your. Are you wear the Horror Syndicate shirt or no?
Yeah, tomorrow I will be wearing my Horror Syndicate shirt. Gotta represent. you know, and we are a new website. We are a newer you know, group of horror fans doing live shows and everything like that.
We're not
And
horror fans, we're horror friends.
we are horror friends. And you know, it's great that we're, you know, we've had independent filmmakers on our show, that we know independent filmmakers, and these independent filmmakers are also getting bigger budget productions, and you know, it's just, you know, meeting new people and going forth and just being friendly with them, and just, you know, this whole horror genre is so much fun. And I am so grateful that now that we have this monster of a movie, Stephen King's It, that horror may be coming back stronger than ever and not watered down PG-13. Horror is coming back R-rated, and it's coming in theaters. And I'm coming, thinking about it.
Ah, there it is. I felt like you were gonna build up to that, and then you unloaded.
I built up and I unloaded all over you guys and whoever is watching.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm really into these horror movie horror. I've been really into horror for a long time. I'm glad we're helping horror indie horror filmmakers out there. We've got Jared's been busting his ass getting screeners for indie horror movies and doing reviews for them. And Morgan's going to do one for us. And I want to, but my busy ass. Actually, I've kind of befriended PJ Starks a little bit, and he just sent me a screener for something that I'll watch and do a review on, because, you know, I told him, I mean, we're really, you know, we really want to help out indie horror filmmakers. God, I got to get that straight. Am I drunk?
Yeah, you're drunk.
Horror filmmakers.
Indie horror filmmakers. We really want to help them out as best we can. We have almost 6,000 followers, and not every one of them sees what we do, but, you know, it may help a little bit. Like, they're doing the movie, which is a horror anthology that takes place on Halloween, and Justin Siemens a part of it. And I just put up information about that the other day with a little teaser trailer. So, you know, any indie horror film makers that are out there, and you want us to maybe give you a hand, just let us know. You can message us on Facebook, you know.
Yeah.
Or, you know, if you're at NJ Horrors Con, go see Brian. Find the man with the Horror Syndicate on.
I will be there with the Horror Syndicate shirt on, the wife and baby. So you will see me and the family there. So feel free to come up and approach me. I am not violent in any way, shape, or form. I just watch movies that have violence in them, because that's how you live your life, vicariously through others. And let's have a conversation. We might do a little live video chat. Fuck it, why not, right?
Yeah. You should do that with Justin, or somebody that we've done.
Blast the nips.
You know, can you do me a favor?
Absolutely.
If you see Linnea Quigley, can you just go up to her and go like that? She'll know what it means.
Yeah. Actually, I'm really interested in finding out if she has any more copies of her workout videotape that I could own, because that thing is fucking hard to find. You know what I'm talking about, Jared, the Linnea Quigley workout. Dude, it was like
we're talking about too.
What is it? It's like the Linnea Quigley horror workout or something like that, and it's like it's literally like a B-rated 80s workout video that's horror themed. Yeah, I definitely want that. I feel like I could get my booty in shape, you know, to the sound of horror 80s or 80s horror electro music. Fucking Christ. I think it's going to be a great time getting my stomach into gear, growing those abs, all while looking directly into 80s Linnea Quigley's eyes. So I think it'll be
post a picture of it on our Facebook so everybody can see.
Bend and twist. There you go, girls.
You hold the position from the beginning of Night of the Demons for at least 5 minutes when she hit the opening.
I think we should have an episode on the Horror Syndicate. All of the '80s horror like actors like that just didn't get any more work doing horror movies and went into porn and then went back into acting in horror movies. I think we should do a whole episode based on that. That would be great. Yeah.
I think we should get right on that.
Right on it. Oh, I don't think Linnea Quigley was in porno. I think she was in like softcore.
I think it was more softcore, like
There's a
late
little something
night
out there.
Cinemax stuff.
Yeah.
There's a little something out there. I'm not going to say whether or not I've seen it or searched it out, but
Actively looked for it.
she's actually on my list of people I'd like to meet. Saw her at Whorehound last year, and I was very timid around some of the stars, the celebrity guests, and I did not get a single autograph or picture last year. But this year, after going Days of the Dead and meeting, Kane Hodder, I'm gonna go see Kane again in Days of the Dead in Chicago. But meeting C.J. Graham and all them, and then going and meeting Amy Steele at Whorehound, and I saw Corey Feldman, man. Corey Feldman. I'm trying to think of a good word to describe what I saw.
Did he perform?
I really wanted to get him to sign my Friday the 13th book, but his line wasn't terribly long. I probably could have worked on it, but I was intimidated by Corey Feldman. He straight up looked like...
You were intimidated by his Michael Jackson persona.
He was full-blown Michael Jackson. He had the sunglasses on in a dim room with a hood that was like gold leafing on it and like had a scarf around his neck and shit. Boy. It looked like he was trying to be incognito where everybody knew he was there.
Yeah.
Everybody knows you're there.
He's like, please, nobody come to my line.
I wanted to snap a picture, but there were so many security guards around him. That was the other thing. It's like, of all of the people that I got to see, everybody I wanted to see. Danielle Harris. Mm-hmm. So hot.
Yes.
But Corey Feldman, the only one who had all these people surrounded. Huh?
Did you see My Beautiful Bates Motel Boys?
Yeah, I didn't care.
What? Wait, Bates Motel Boys? Did they exhume Anthony Perkins?
No, he's dead.
That's why they exhumed him.
Exhumed him.
Nestor, what's his name? Is it Nestor or Lester? What is it?
Nestor.
Yeah, Carbonell or something. He was there, and there's a couple other ones. No, because I walked past them, and because I saw Harmony from Buffy and the guy who plays Xander. Can't remember their names for anything. I saw them there, and I was more blown away by seeing those.
He was there, wasn't he?
He wasn't there. He had to bail.
Oh.
So, yeah, I was only there for Danielle Harris, Amy Steele, and Steve Dash, who, while we were waiting in line, we weren't waiting in line for him again, but he remembered Reynolds from Days of the Dead.
Did he?
Oh,
that's cool.
He was poking a machete. He was poking him with a machete, a real machete. He was poking Reynolds with a machete.
Oh my God.
He was like, "Hey, I remember you." And then he takes somebody gives him a Camp Crystal Lake sign to sign. And he picks it up, he looks at Reynolds and says, "Hey," and hits him over the head with it. It's like, Steve Dash is a class act. He's fantastic. So,
well, isn't his real name Steve Dashowicz or something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Changed it.
Yeah, no, he's a pretty cool dude. I met Steve Dash. I kind of let him do his thing whenever I see him at at the conventions, everything. He's from Jersey, New York area. So he's always at all the conventions that I go to, and he's a pretty cool dude. He's very funny. He's got that like old Italian mafioso vibe to him, and he's pretty cool, and his stories are really interesting. We had him on one of our sister shows back in the day, and he talked about of course, if you were to watch Crystal Lake Memories. He talks about it in Friday the 13th, Part 2, about how he was brought on and now he is the real Jason Voorhees, even though there's like 5 of them.
No, just 2. It was him and Warrington. If you're talking about just for part 2, it's just him and Warrington, but he does sign the real Jason part 2.
Mm-hmm. And the thing, what exactly? My memory sucks. Even when I watch it, my memory sucks. What exactly happens? The transition from part 2 to part 3. I know Ginny survives. I know this is going completely off the rails and what we were talking about. I know Ginny survives, but what happens to what's his name?
Paul.
Yeah. What happened? Do they say anything? Does he just disappear, just like the Jarvis, Mrs. Jarvis? Like, do they not?
She dies, Mrs. Jarvis, but I think Paul lived. I just think it was kind of like alluded to that he lived. I don't know,
there was a lot of survivors in part 2 because there was a bunch of people that went to the bar that night that didn't come back.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's true. I think he survived too. The thing is, we don't know what happened after Jason jumps through the window because it cuts to Ginny going into the ambulance. Mm-hmm. So who knows? Maybe Paul stopped Jason because part 3 picks up with Jason in the damn shack.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Plus, then they, like you were, I think what you were saying was they Jason looks different, which leads me to my one of them is the last Voorhees theory.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and then this is something I never really comprehended was like what happened to Paul and Ginny after. Of course, the aftermath after, and they never go back to his shack. You notice that the only time they ever go back to his shack is in the Friday the 13th remake from New Line.
Yeah, so let me go back. I forgot. I almost totally forgot because I met John Fury. Is that his name, John? I got his autograph too. He says he survived, and then so him, and Amy Steele were right next to each other. And I didn't ask. Somebody else did. And he said, "I survived," and he winks. But Amy Steele just looks at it and goes, "No, you didn't."
Wait.
So
there's still a debate to this day on whether or not he lived.
Yeah. The only reason why I compared him to Mrs. Jarvis is because the deleted scene was a dream that showed Mrs. Jarvis in a bathtub, but in final chapter you just see Miss Jarvis turn around and then next scene. Like, they never really go into it, and then they never really talk about his mom getting killed or anything. In fact, they don't even mention what was it, Tina Jarvis, who was the sister.
Tina, that sounds about right.
It was Tina. They don't even mention her, because I know that they wanted Tommy Jarvis to be the killer in the forthgoing with the sequels, but since New Blood did not do too well. They brought back Jason from the grave, which we all know that zombie Jason comes back, and Tom Matthews returns as comes as Tommy Jarvis, and that's the best fan movie of all time. Even though Ray absolutely hates
that's movie of all. Come on.
Ray absolutely hates part 6. He despises it with all of his heart.
Oh my God, is that a dead body?
Is that a dead body?
Speaking of which, the video games just announced that are actually for available download. You can download the Summer of '84 swimwear pack for Friday the 13th, the video game, and makes me want to play it right now. And the song called Night Swim is actually performed and produced by Sunglasses Kid and Myron, who are artists in the synthwave pop culture.
Synthwave.
So go check it out.
Yeah, because you put the trailer for that on there, which I love the trailer for the for the swimwear, the Summer of '84. But have you downloaded it yet? Do you know if it's hard to get? Because I got on there. Was it available yesterday or today?
Let me just tell you something, Ray.
I haven't been on there yet.
I woke up at 6 o'clock this morning. I put my daughter, in her crib after I fed her some, I gave her some milk. I put her in the play yard, and I'm sitting there looking at my phone, and I see a Facebook notification saying, or from one of the pages I follow, saying, "Oh, well, look what I got. It just updated." and during mid-sleep or like being like semi-conscious, I downloaded it and then just went back to sleep.
Well,
So I don't know if it's not available or if it is available.
well, if you have it, it's available.
I have it.
Is
You
it
gotta
expensive? How much is it? Like $4.99, $3.99?
no, it was like $1.99.
That's too
Okay.
expensive.
It was $2.
That's
Me and Jared are out.
expensive.
Well, I gotta buy it
$2.
twice because I have it on both Xbox and PS4.
Why do you torture yourself, Ray? Just get rid of your Xbox.
No, I love my Xbox. I use my Xbox more than I use my PS4 anymore.
I haven't even played the they updated the video game with smaller maps, and they took away friendly fire, so now everyone can beat the shit out of each other and not die, and it makes it easier to kill Jason. I haven't even played it since they've done this patch. Have you guys played it at all?
Yeah, it's funny because like somebody was hitting me. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Why is this person hitting me? And I guess it was okay. But yeah, so you haven't played the smaller maps yet?
No, are they fun or are they bullshit? I don't know.
Die a lot faster.
You die a lot faster?
It's definitely Jason friendly.
Oh, it is?
Yep, there it is, $1.99. Got it.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It makes the matches go faster. It also pisses people off more. So every match since I've been playing, like I told you, I've been playing once or twice a day. And I've been trying to play on my Xbox because I'm only level like 9 or 10 on Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been playing on Xbox, and these people are playing. It's in these smaller maps every time, and these people rage quit like bitches because they get killed so fast. It's like, dude, bitch, I died 30 seconds into the game. Give me a break.
I heard that. I heard that people have been quitting a lot lately, a lot more often than. Do they still have the big maps available, or is it just all small maps?
It's random. It just seems like the small maps go faster, or go more. Damn. I don't know. What they should have done was do small maps in less time for quick. But they didn't do that.
It's almost like they're trying to like keep people from rage quitting, but they're doing it even more.
Yeah. I guess they don't care about XP anymore because that's the whole reason you don't quit is you lose the XP. Is there a PS4?
Go ahead, Morgan. You were going to say something?
What? Oh yeah. What happens when you die? Like
you wait.
You get to watch everybody.
Yeah.
This is actually a lot of fun.
It really is.
I like to follow Brian. He has a nice butt.
Thank you.
He always picks the character with the best butt.
If you ever watch the videos of what happens, like people post up videos like what happens when you escape when the cops get there, and if you ever watch these videos, it's really just your character running past the cop car and running into a void, and just kind of just stopping in the middle of the void and waiting for the like it. Honestly, in that universe, it's just better to die by the hands of Jason than to escape and just stare into an endless void. At least it's like I don't know, in my opinion, that like
it's like this unraveling matrix of nothing.
Yeah.
See, I don't mind dying in the game, but I don't like dying so early. You know, like I'd like to get at least 5 minutes in, not 30 seconds in like I have been the last few times I played.
Yeah. Well, you gotta hide in the first like 5 minutes of the game because Jason's not just smart enough to trap everything.
Well, it's not that. I think part of it has to do with where I've been spawning because I've been spawning right by the bathroom in the Crystal Lake map, and I think a lot of people go straight to that map. I've all been spawning right at Packanack if it's at Packanack, so that's generally one of the first places that Jasons go is by the.
What you got to do is, if you spawn by the Packanack, grab the shotgun and hide. Hide for like 5 minutes because he's gonna trap everything. And if you're crouched and you're hiding, he's not gonna be able to sense you. And if you are playing at Crystal Lake,
maybe I'll play tonight.
Just hide. Yeah, maybe I'll play tonight too, or maybe I'll do a double feature on VHS. I don't know. If you guys are playing tonight, I'll play. Hey, if you there are watching the show right now, and if you have a PlayStation 4, you can play with Ray and, of course, me tonight on Friday the 13th live. Doesn't that sound like fun? Morgan's going to play, too.
My roommate has a PlayStation 4. She brought it here, so
Does she have Friday
if
the
we buy
13th?
the game, then I can play with y'all. No, we both want to get it, though. So
You're killing me, Morgan.
hopefully we'll get it soon.
You're not just killing Ray, Morgan. You're killing me. And Jared. You're slowly killing Jared. Joe, Jared's killing me. He only played Friday the 13th for like 2 hot weeks. And then it's like, hey, Jared, you want to play? No, I'm watching Netflix. Hey, Jared, you want to play? No, I'm playing Uncharted. Hey, Jared, you want to play? No, I'm playing Hulu. Jared, you want to play? Jared?
I'm playing Uncharted.
Sorry, guys. I fell asleep.
Y'all probably don't want me to play with you. I'm going to suck.
What did I say? I said I'm playing Uncharted 4, and you're like, Nathan Drake sucks ass.
I still got to play those.
It's like the masculine version of Tomb Raider. They're fun.
You guys see the trailer for Tomb Raider? It's like almost an exact replica of the video game.
I haven't.
Is it? I saw
There's
the trailer.
What's up?
I said I haven't, but I heard good stuff. My wife loves the Tomb Raider games and the Angelina Jolie movies.
I like the two newer games. Are pretty good. I didn't care for the old games.
They're a little hard to get into. I liked Tomb Raider 2 for PlayStation.
Uh-oh. Kid's crying.
What? Okay. I liked Tomb Raider 2 for PlayStation.
Sounds like
that was like the first game I played on the play, and I actually hated it the first time I played it, and I actually returned it. And then I end up buying it again, because I like being tortured to death. But it was a fun game, and playing the Tomb Raider, the new Tomb Raider games was like, holy shit! Like, when did Lara Croft turn into Sam Fisher from Splinter Cell? And they're just fun games. But the trailer looks good. I'm a fan of Walton Goggins. He plays a pretty good bad guy. He also played a pretty good character in Hateful Eight.
Yeah, he did.
And he's just an overall fun actor.
Justified. He was in Predators.
Mm-hmm. I have not seen Justified, even though everyone's telling me I need to watch it. And by everyone, I mean IMDb, because I have no friends.
A couple of people.
A couple. It's my life. But yeah, no, I'm completely excited for the new Tomb Raider movie. I like the Angelina Jolie movies. I mostly liked watching Angelina Jolie.
Of course.
Who wouldn't
she has
be mad?
Huge tracts of land.
Huge tracts of land. But those movies were stupid fun. I never really watched The Cradle of Filth or whatever it's called. Cradle of Life, something.
I think The Cradle of Filth.
The Cradle of Filth. Tomb Raider and The Cradle of Filth. Since when did Lara Croft go deathcore? I fucking know. But yeah, no. But they were fun, stupid movies. They weren't stupid like Resident Evil movies, which, yeah. Guess who watched them all? Yep.
No. More importantly, guess who bought them all?
Yep. Yep. It was one of those things where it's like, hey, Walmart's got all them together for $12. And I said, hey, I was a smoker for 8 years. I spent $12 on a lot worse shit than this. Let's do it. And a fun fact about the anthology pack that I bought from Walmart is I used it to kill a spider today. So I finally put the DVD to good use. So that was fun. But as we're on this topic, I will give you my positive thoughts about Resident Evil, but I will give you a much more in-depth positive review when I have my article posted later or early next week on the best, or from the worst to best of the Resident Evil movies. I can't believe the best and Resident Evil movie is in the same sentence here. But
say it, guys.
I'm not saying they're good. I'm not. Let's get to. I went into watching these movies as someone who has never played the video game, because that's
subjective.
What?
Objective, not subjective.
Yeah. So I had to put
Objective
all those.
Means you have no bias.
I went in and I pretended that I never played the video games, and I gotta say the third one was my favorite because they killed off all the characters that they made up in the first two movies. And you know what? The first three, I have to hand it to them. They had really good use of practical effects. And then Afterlife came out. And what the fuck? It was the Matrix. It was the goddamn Matrix. CGI, dual guns blazing, backflips in the air, jumping over bullshit. It was crap. And the plot was gone. Like, if the first movie had a plot, second movie had a plot, the third movie had a plot, and then it's like the rest of the movies, it's like, let's grab all these characters from all the video games and let's put together cutscenes that we've only watched 5 seconds of and make movies out of them. These movies fucking suck. But going into this as someone who's never played the video games, 3 was my favorite. And then it was 1. And then it was 2. And then the other 3 can go fight over each other.
And dark alley.
Dark alley.
Double wielding pistols.
Oh my god, it's so bad. Morgan, you've seen the
Final
Resident
chapter.
Evil movies, right?
No, I've never seen any of them.
No, good for you. I'm so happy.
I heard everything you just said.
Yeah.
One of the things I was just going to comment on with the second movie that I liked, I don't think that's even close to the best one. I think 3, like you said, maybe. But one of the things I enjoyed about the second one is imagining that it's happening during the events of 2 and the video game Part 2 and Nemesis Part 3.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, in Resident Evil 2, the game, that's when Raccoon City is zombie infested, and Leon and Ada fighting their way through Raccoon City and finding out all these secrets. And then, you know, 3, does 3 kind of take place during 2 with Jill?
3?
You know, and then there's the Nemesis running around because
the video games, right?
I'm about the video
games. Okay.
Yeah, so when I watched Apocalypse, I imagine that Leon is running around the streets, and so is Claire and all that stuff, even though when Claire is introduced, she's totally fucking out of character. But
I won't give you an angry rant.
They kept shoehorning in these characters from the movies, like Leon and Ada and fan favorites, you know, and Jill, and they fucked it up with, I mean, do some fan service and add the characters in and make it. That's my biggest problem with the movies. Their movies are what they are, but like I would have rather see them, you know, take place around Jill and Leon and all those characters, not Alice.
And that was the thing. If they made Resident Evil, right? If Paul W.S. Anderson was, you know, a decent human being who actually enjoyed making people happy, he would have made Resident Evil and then forget about Alice and then make the rest of the movies. Like, I could have lived with that. But that's not what happened. He continued to make his wife a superstar. And as every movie happened over and over again,
Zombie.
and after every movie happened after the other, Alice became Neo from the fucking Matrix. And it's like, oh, Resident Evil's about survival horror. That's great. The Resident Evil movies, the survival horror was great when Alice wasn't in the scenes. And then everything got thrown out the window when Alice showed up. It's like, oh, in Resident Evil Apocalypse, we're trapped in a church, and there's these two lickers coming in the church. Everyone's getting eaten. Everyone's dying. How are we going to escape? And then Alice jumps through the fucking glass pane on a motorcycle with 2 fucking machine guns, double fisting, and then it pulls out double sawed-off shotguns, and then pulls out double pistols. And it's like, oh, okay, so that's where we went with survival horror. And they kept doing that in every movie. Like, Alice was fucking Neo from The Matrix. And it just... Watching it as someone who's never played the video game, the movies get boring.
Yeah, you didn't see the last one yet. The last one was the worst offense of all of them. So
really,
it was not good at all. It was
really
laughable.
What happened?
It had a disjointed story, and it didn't feel like everybody was into it. And then the payoff at the end was kind of shit. So.
Mm-hmm. The only thing Resident Evil Afterlife had going for it was the character who played Albert Wesker. He was right on. The Albert Wesker they had for Extinction was like, hey, we found an actor. We dyed his hair and gave him sunglasses. And it's like, oh, look, it's Albert Wesker. Where Afterlife, the Albert Wesker was like, hey, I'm Albert Wesker from, Resident Evil Part 5, where Chris Redfield punches a boulder. It's like, and I felt like the games were kind of like mirroring the action of the movies. But
by Part 5,
yeah. But Part 5 was awful, but Part 6 was actually pretty decent. I don't know if you played the 6th one.
Yeah.
It really wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was okay.
The Leon scenario sucked, but everyone else's was fine. I think the Jake and Sherry scenario was the best one. And if you're playing co-op, it's just way better. But yeah, no, the Resident Evil movies, coming from someone who's never played a video game, that's how I went into it, they get boring. They're just...
Yeah, I think they do too. I like the first couple, and then then rewatchability is kind of low for them, I think, especially as the wore on. Yeah. I'm glad they're done, and I wouldn't mind seeing something new, but I'd rather, we've talked about it before, and a TV series would be good.
Yeah. Like, I wouldn't mind a TV series where they go into the mansion and then the whole outbreak of Raccoon City. That's what they had going for them.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, anything else you guys would like to talk about?
We can talk about, I'm thinking about next week. We've gotten, before we go, we should at least drop the question, how does everyone feel about the Jeepers Creepers movie coming out? We've gotten some feedback after the trailer was posted, and it wasn't very good because of the director's past, and we talked about possibly talking about that next week. I mean, is that anything anybody would want to hear about us talk about it? It's strictly the movie, not the guy's past.
I would love to talk about Jeepers Creepers 3. I think if the question or the statement arises about Victor Salva's past, I feel like we can get into that too. I mean, none of us here support what he's done. We do not support the idea of it. It was the worst possible act that anyone could commit, and there's no excuse for it. And I feel like we can totally have an open discussion about the Jeepers Creepers movies. If it gets a little heated, it gets a little heated. I'm all down for talking about it though. Everything put aside, they're pretty decent movies. I'm not gonna lie. But I would like to hear other people's inputs and opinions about it. I mean, if you guys are down for that.
Discussing it a little bit after the movie gets released and just kind of reactions. I actually may have some press passes for a premiere to see it next Tuesday.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh. Nice. Look at you, you press passing slut.
But kind of like you said, I'm going into it open-minded, you know.
Are you going as a press?
Well,
I think it's okay to talk about. A review
Yeah,
for it. I think it'll be okay. What do you think, Morgan? Do you even have any idea? Is she?
What you kind of cut out for me.
What do you think about the whole Jeepers Creepers thing? Do you know what's going on?
Yeah. I don't know. It kind of sucks for the genre. Because a bunch of people are like, I'm not going to go see it because of that. But yet, like, there's, like, big movies that, what is it called? The freaking movie that was nominated for an Oscar with Casey Affleck in it that, like, people have no problem supporting, even though, I mean, he didn't mess with a kid, but still.
Nah,
What movie is that?
it's Ghost House. Ghost, right?
I freaking forgot what it was called. No, not that one, but that one too. Awards season.
Or Ghost Story.
That's what it was.
So, yeah, you know, it's just there's a lot of terrible things that happens in this industry. A lot of terrible things, and the thing is that I don't want to get into it. I'm not getting into it. I think it's better to save it for next week.
Maybe not talk about that stuff. Maybe we can talk about the movie itself.
Yeah, no, I would love to talk about the movie.
We don't need to touch on the guy's personal life.
No,
You know,
no,
I don't want to talk about that.
no. But I would definitely love to talk about. I would love to talk about the trilogy. I'm not gonna lie. I like the Jeepers Creepers movies. I thought they were interesting. I thought they were fun. And if the rest of the world had a problem, then these movies should have never been made. Powder should have never been made. Like, they're made. They're already done. And I'm going to watch them. Sorry. Angry rants. Go ahead. Send me your angry comments now. I don't give a shit.
I guess I should watch them again. I haven't seen the first one in many years. And I mean, the second one was really boring. That's what I remember.
I love the second one. I like both of them.
With the football team
I like the
and the
first
school
one.
bus?
The first one I remember, I was working overnights when it came out on VHS is when I got it. And I went to Walmart, and I used to go buy horror movies at Walmart after I'd get off at 6 o'clock. And I would go buy horror movies and go home and watch them. And I was watching Jeepers Creepers, and in the morning at like 6 o'clock in the morning, all by myself in my bed, and that scene where he's tossing the bodies down the well or whatever underneath the church really creeped me out. I'll never forget that. It did its job.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the first movie was really scary. I mean, it was new, it was untraditional, and it was the creeper was someone to be feared. He drove a truck. He flew. I don't even know why he needed to drive a truck if he had fucking wings. It makes no sense. It's like going into
profile, I guess.
Yeah, it's like going to Toys R Us and you see a Spider-Man action figure and he comes with a car.
That motorcycle.
Or a motorcycle. Why does he need to fucking drive if he can just like keep shooting web? Yeah, web sled.
Because his arms and stuff get tired sometimes. You know, he doesn't want to.
No, he's got enhanced strength and all that good stuff. It's not that. It's just to sell toys. Yeah, maybe Hasbro owned the rights to the Creeper, and they're like, oh, let's give him a truck so we can sell toys.
No,
Yeah,
it's the same. It's the
Big
same.
web sling.
These bodies around. They'll get heavy. What if he drops one? It's much easier to just, get a truck.
And when he was in the truck, he was an asshole because he was trying to run people off the road too. It's like
Oh,
he knew
wait,
what he
hold
was
on.
doing.
He's like, get out of my way.
As the time went on, as he took bodies, maybe he was regenerating. He didn't have his wings available. Is that a thing?
Maybe.
Oh.
He does only feed like once every 23 years, so maybe he wasn't full strength.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is, because he doesn't he take Derry's eyes at the end of the movie or something like that, and because he can't see? I don't know.
Does
Yeah.
something.
Hi, Daddy.
Hi. I asked her to be quiet, and she's been so loud the whole time.
That's okay. Well, I mean, we can wrap this show up, for the night. We had a pretty strong show. We talked about it a lot. We talked about Friday the 13th, the video game. We aimed a little bit into Jeepers Creepers. Even though our next week's episode, we're going to focus a lot more on the trilogy itself.
Yeah, well, hopefully you're going to give us some tidbits about what happened that not everybody's going to get to see at the convention.
Mhm.
I think I'm still thinking about getting a table for that one in St. Louis in November, Contamination. So we may get new shirts. I've got 2 guys working on logos right now. So
I'm excited for that.
Yeah. So that's something. It's called Contamination 6, I think. Share the link on our Facebook for it. That's one that we may be having an actual presence at, as far as having a booth, and maybe some T-shirts and other things pins and buttons and stuff like that. I don't know. We'll see. It'd be a good tester because the tables aren't very expensive. I think it's it's $150 regular price, but if I do it before September 30th, it's only $75 a table, which is really, really low. And it'd be a good tester to see if we do anything at all, if we garner any attention at the convention. So, because I'd like to have a booth at maybe a Horror Hound or a Days of the Dead or just Frightmare, probably not.
Yeah, I hope to join you guys. I hope to join you, Ray, on these vendor booth safaris, the convention safaris that are going to be in the future. I really enjoy doing the Horror Syndicate, and I know you guys who are watching the show every week and liking our page. Thank you so much for all the dedication and being on board with us since the beginning. We only hope to continue to give you the best fan reviews and surveys, brackets, everything. And hopefully, we are your favorite page on Facebook. So continue to like us.
No, we can't.
What's up?
You can always let us know what you want to see also, right?
Yeah. So, but Jared, do you have any final things you want to mention?
Not particularly. It was kind of nice getting together after our little hiatus. So it was fun chatting with you guys about what we love. That's it from me tonight.
Morgan, anything from you?
Yeah, I was going to say, hopefully, Jared, you'll have some insight on Jeepers Creepers 3 next week.
Yeah, definitely. Still haven't gotten the email, but she says it's been sent to the production team, so it should be waiting for me.
Morgan, what were you going to say? Sorry, I cut you off.
I just want to say one last thing about it. One scene that I really liked that was in the original and in the remake too, and that I thought it was so much better in the remake was the Beverly blood scene. So yeah, that in the remake, it was so good. It was so much better. And then also I wanted to say that Texas Frightmare posted today to remind everybody that this is the final week to contribute to George Romero's Hollywood Star Completion Fund. So if you want him to have a star on the Walk of Fame, you can go find that campaign. Texas Frightmare has shared it on their pages and sites, so you can go to their page to find it. And yeah.
Actually, Morgan, can you share it on our Facebook and our Twitter? That way people can just go from there if they want to.
That's cool.
I think that would be good. Yeah, that's really cool.
I think he deserves to be on the Walk of Fame.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt. So, all right.
Oops.
Anything else? Anybody has anything else? Morgan, a couple good tidbits. Thank you. No,
I'm good here.
Okay. Well, let's end this and watch some horror movies.
Take it away.
Friday the 13th.
Alrighty. Well, my name is Brian Enright. You can follow me here at the Horror Syndicate on Facebook at Brian Enright, on Twitter, Instagram at the Horror Jew. Jared, where can we find you, man?
You can like me on Facebook at Jared Letourneau, or try to follow me on Twitter. I don't have many followers. I'm still new to it. At zombie_survivor. I like a lot of synthwave.
All right. Thank you very much, Jared. Up next, we have Morgan. Morgan, where can we find you?
What?
Somewhere, right?
It keeps messing up. Okay. Hey, what's up? You can find me on Twitter at Morgan_Joel_S.
All right. Thank you, Morgan. And last but not least, our president, Sure Razor. Where can we find you?
You can find me and my daughter on Twitter, since she may as well have been on the show with us, at Razor_33. On Facebook. You want to come say bye since you were on the whole thing pretty much? Here she is. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye, Horror Syndicate.
Hi, Elena.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thank you, guys. And thank you for joining us. Everyone have a great night. All right. We're stopped on